Montreal is a treasure trove for foodies. Everything from snacks, bagels, ethnic cuisines, and poutine. A whole lot of poutine. We had a chance to take a weekend trip across the border for a little getaway, and to, of course, sample all of the deliciousness that is Montreal. I'm gonna highlight some of the standouts, including an epic showdown between historic bagel shops in Montreal, and some other low-key bangers. Hibot Orange Julep was the place that bookended our trip, beginning and end. But I'm jumping ahead. As soon as we hit Montreal, we made it a point to stop here first. You can see the giant orange ball from the road from pretty far away, and the menu is filled with things that are really familiar to most Americans. Burgers, hot dogs, and an orange drink that really brings you back to the 1990s walking around a mall. It's pretty much the same thing as the Orange Julius. This time I opted for their Michigan-style hot dog, which is covered in a thin meat sauce that's not unlike what we have in our area, the special mini dogs. I really love that they do this with a New England-style grilled bun, but for me, poutine is a must at Hibot Orange Julep. Their fries are done nice and dark, and then they have that really rich and super beefy gravy. The story here, though, is how this place converted my son into a poutine maniac. At the beginning of the trip, he had no interest at all in trying poutine, but by the end of the trip, he actually was begging us to go back on our way back home. So that's what we did for breakfast one day, and I opted for their brunch burger, which had a nice fried egg on it, as well as another really heavy portion of poutine because you gotta do it. Both stops were really incredible, very understated, but we have a whole lot of trip to talk about here. We needed dinner in Old Montreal after checking into our hotel and relaxing for a little bit after that Hibot Orange Julep. We did take a chance to walk off that poutine heavy meal, and while walking, we actually found this place called Hardin Nelson. It was a beautiful terrace restaurant. It looked like they had really nice cold beers and kind of a fun menu. Interesting looking food. This probably needs its own breakdown video, but high level, Noah ordered pretty much the most ridiculous meat lovers pizza I think I've ever seen, and I settled on this buckwheat crepe with some Montreal smoked meat, mustard, and Emmental cheese. Basically a super heavy pastrami quesadilla. Perfect to soak up a nice red lager. The menu was fully in French, so that was fun. Pretty cool place. Bagels in Montreal are a special thing. If you're familiar with the New York style of heavy, doughy bricks, which I love by the way, Montreal does it very differently. Their bagels are smaller, thinner, crispier, more akin to a soft pretzel. There are two legendary shops in the Mile End section of Montreal, Fairmount and Saint Viateur. I had a chance to sample both back in 2019, but on this visit, I had my snacking companion Noah and some new fancy 4K camera equipment. We thought it would be a good idea to settle the debate on both shops again, once and for all. This is going to be its own series of shorts, but to give kind of a spoiler as far as the whole theme of the whole thing, we had some difficulty actually defining a true winner between the shops because both had distinct strengths and we each had different favorites. This is the problem with people having different opinions on stuff. Everybody gets to have their own. That said, you can't go wrong at either shop. Given that we post the silly snack reviews here every week, we actually made a few stops around Montreal to gather about a dozen snacks that we sampled while we were in Canada. This is in between meals at our hotel room. These videos are already up on the channel, but among our favorites were Coffee Crisp, Ruffles All Dressed, which I've actually seen migrated to the US lately, at least in my area. They had a version of Reese's with nougat in it. That was kind of a fun one. And they had a snack cake called Joss Lewis, kind of similar to Ring Ding. I'll link to a playlist with these videos down below so you can check those out. But yeah, we love our silly snacks. Montreal has a really strong Chinese food culture, and that's because Canada was actually a hotspot for Chinese immigrants. So we made it a point to check out a place called Sammy and Soup Dumpling, and they have a few locations across Montreal. They have these table settings that actually walk you through exactly how to eat their dumpling, and we tried a few different varieties of their soup dumpling. What I like is there's a pretty good balance between wrapper and then the filling and the soup inside. A lot of times you go to these places and the dumpling wrappers are pretty thick. Each was actually also super flavorful, which helps, obviously. And then from the premium menu, I tried these teriyaki beef dumplings, which were actually a little bit more rich and sweet than I like in a soup dumpling. Not bad, but not the perfect combo for me. The fried dumplings were really flashy and very good, but the favorite for me were the peanut butter wontons. These Szechuan style wontons were slathered in this really rich peanutty sauce. Nice and spicy, a little bit of scallion in there. Really incredible. I'd honestly go back just for these. Brunch in Montreal is always a stop that my wife looks forward to. And she came across this really small shop called Olive et Gourmando in Old Montreal. And as you enter, they have a really nice bakery with some really attractive looking baked goods and also a coffee bar. And then they have tables where they have kind of a seasonal brunch menu. On our visit, I kept seeing people getting these French toasts, and Noah actually ordered that. I had to steal a bite of it. A lot of strawberry, nice whipped mascarpone cheese. This was impressive, really rich, like vanilla flavor in that. Amazing. But what I ordered actually was pretty big standout for me. They called it the poached egg on your face panini. Kind of cute little play on words. Now, it takes a lot for me to order egg salad at a restaurant, but it was advertised as spicy poached egg salad, which is actually not really egg salad at all. I think it's just chopped up poached egg, which I guess might be egg salad. I don't know. It had a raw milk cheese speck, which is like a different type of prosciutto, and confit tomatoes. This was really out of this world. Gotta say, a little pricey at $26 Canadian, but worth every penny. We also tried a cinnamon raisin bun, and while it was really good, it does not touch that sandwich. When I saw McDonald's in Old Montreal, I knew that was a place I had to stop into. Even though I'm not really loving McDonald's too much these days, story for another day. I did find something there I couldn't skip. Spicy buffalo crispy chicken poutine. Yeah, I had to. This was, unsurprisingly, the weakest poutine of the trip. I actually don't think there was any kind of gravy on there, unless you want to call the buffalo sauce gravy. Not even going to get into the sauce versus gravy debate here. But the breaded chicken was impressively good for McDonald's, and obviously McDonald's fries are engineered to taste good. You just can't argue against that. A little breakfast happy meal for the kid, and yes, I did technically eat poutine for breakfast again in Montreal, and I got this American stop out of my system. Here are some smaller tasty honorable mentions that we had in Montreal. Churro Sundays at Dulce. Old Montreal has a bunch of nice little shops, like hole-in-the-wall sweet shop type thing. This little shop called Dulce had these churro-themed ice cream sundaes. We couldn't pass that up. I opted for one with mini Oreos, but the others looked equally ridiculous. We really enjoyed this. The giant Ferris wheel in Old Montreal is fun for the whole family. Noah was a little bit afraid at first. I don't think he's ever done anything that goes that high, but he got over it quickly when he realized how slowly it moves, and then how beautiful the view of Montreal is from the top. In between our bagel tasting, we stopped at this place called Fame. I don't know if it's Fame, I don't know, but it was this cute little modern coffee shop. They had these cute aesthetic iced lattes that were really refreshing. Great fuel for all that bagel tasting. And because I can't help myself, I even had to have poutine at a soccer game. One of the options at the stadium when we watched this soccer game was a food truck, and they had a smoked meats poutine. I know. Heavy, 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 heavy. It was absolutely fantastic. Totally the wrong food to eat at a stadium, but totally the right thing to have with a nice West Coast IPA. But Cassie gets the award for the most over-the-top dessert while we were in Montreal. After our soup dumpling meal at Sammy and Soup Dumpling, we ducked into this shop which was serving boba teas and shaved ice desserts, and these were all crazy. But what Cassie got was topped with a whole bunch of stuff. I can't even remember everything that was on there. Definitely some fruit. I think there was some ice cream, nice pistachio cream. We all chipped in to eat this, but barely made a dent in it. It was one of those things where we couldn't stop laughing. It was really funny. I think that covers the high level of everything we ate in Montreal over the course of a couple of days. If you had a favorite and want to see more about anything mentioned here, let me know in the comments so I know what to work on first. As always, hit like on the video and make sure you're subscribed, because you never know where we're going to pop up next for a food adventure. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.